Got to pull up the live for myself before I can get into the chat. What's up, Vegan? Clint, Douglas, John, Queso, Tools with Tim, Denny, Fools. Make sure y'all can hear me all right. I had to tie a rope through the insulation board. I've got it tied off to my general card over here, pulled tight so it keeps that board against there. I think it's like I don't have my watch on me, but I think it's 17 degrees outside, not counting the wind chill, something like that. Loud and sharp. Appreciate that. So football games are on at least, but I figured there's probably a lot of people out there that are stuck in their house or been stuck in their house all day. So I thought I'd come out here and do a live in case y'all want to chat. Just got the power back on here, Brian Weatherington. Yeah, we did too. Not too long ago. Ours went out about 9:30-ish or something like that this morning. Came back on about 1:30. Tools with Tim still getting sleep like crazy. I thought we were supposed to be done for the day around like 1 o'clock or so, but it's still. I thought maybe it was originally just the wind blowing off the roof and stuff like that, but it's still spitting snow a little bit now. So we basically got like, if I had to guess, because the snow was about up to the top of my concrete sidewalk in the back. So we probably got like 3 inches, 4 inches last night. And then all from last night to this morning, it was mostly just like a sleet mix, like ice and stuff like that. But we didn't get anything near like what, they were calling for. I thought we were going to escape not having our power go out, but it went out for a little while today. What's up, Perez? Like the 7-Eleven L video earlier, Terry Burton probably can't hang in here, but howdy, icing up here now. I thought we had barely missed it. Yeah, I had to get out and knock off, like while the power was out, I went outside my condenser unit. Of course, I've got a heat pump for the house. It was totally iced over, so I went out there and knocked it all off and got it all cleaned off so that when the power came back on, it wouldn't mess it up and it'd be able to run. So that's all we got today was 100% just ice stuff. It is like snowing now, though. It's not ice, it's snow now. The worst thing about it was, I guess the power might have went off about 8:30 this morning, maybe not 9:30. I was just getting ready. I was laying in bed looking at looking around online, and then I turned it on the Paramount Plus. I was going to watch that Patty, the UFC thing, because I didn't want to wait around last night, which I still haven't finished it. Like the power went off right in the middle of me watching it, so I still don't know who won that one. So don't spoil it. I don't normally watch that stuff, but I like him. Oh yeah, Clint was saying appreciate the 7-Eleven. Some people were asking about the Klein ball handle, which Sir Master of None, that's what he said he bought it for. It does work in your Klein ball handle too, like fits in there really snug, doesn't move around. About the same length as, it's still one of those where it puts the ratcheting mechanism up, still different than a stubby that I'd be kind of looking for, but not a lot of difference. It's a little bit longer than the vessel if you put it in the vessel, because it comes down maybe about a half a collet further, but very similar. Again, this isn't near as heavy as the vessel, though. That's the whole reason why I like this one, is because it's heavy. Somebody in the comments of that video mentioned to buy the Annex, which for $18 instead, which 1,000 of you have tried to get me to buy that Annex. But the Annex to me is probably, again, I haven't held it in my hands, but my guess is the Annex weighs about like this. And, that in comparison to this it feels like a toy to me. That's why that's why I end up not using this that much. I just leave this one. It stays in my garage toolbox, and it's one of them screwdrivers that I just grab out whenever I'm doing something real fast. But I don't like use this in my work because I don't enjoy the weight of it near as much as I like these. What's up, Woodchuck? What's up, Bowery? Perez, no power loss here in Dallas, which honestly surprised me. Haven't left the house since Friday afternoon, mostly in bed. Tools with Tim got 9 inches of snow and now getting saturated with, let's see, it brought up an ad on me, ice. Was a good fight. So far, I think I was in round 3 when the power went off, and it looked like to me that the Patty was losing it, but not 1,000 of us. But yes, it is lighter. Clint got about 12 to 15 inches of snow. Woodchuck halftime going out for the first round of snow blowing. Yeah, just now hitting halftime, or there was a minute and something left as I was coming out here, but it was 7-7. I don't know if it's still tied or not. The Broncos and the Patriots. Yeah, so then my garage holds its heat pretty well. So like I normally leave it set on 50, and the power went out 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, at least like probably 4 hours or something like that. I leave it set on 50 unless I'm coming out here. Then I just, turn it up from my phone before I come out here a little bit. And it was down, it only got down to like 46 or something in here. And then I turned it up and it's up to, I think it was up to like 66 within, 30 minutes or something from 48. Terry Burton, I thought you had the annex. I'll send you one. No, it's a joke because like Matt and Someway and everybody tells me I need to get it and try it, which I've seen plenty of videos on it. I do like the switch and everything on the annex probably better than this because this one you do hit every now and then, like while you're working, if you're on accident sometimes, and it looks like that annex switch would be a lot better, than what this is. But the whole reason why I've not bought it yet is just because of, the weight and stuff like that. It's not that I don't like that vessel ratcheting screwdriver. It's just, it's the same thing I said in that video about like all these. Like, it's not that I don't like these. It's just, if I have the option of grabbing a screwdriver handle, that's the ones that I like. That's the ones I'm going to grab more. So if I have the option of, even if this is a ratchet screwdriver, it's like I'd still rather just do this. So if I can try a ratcheting screwdriver in one of these, I'm more likely to keep trying it. Because the thing is, most of the time is, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to try a ratcheting screwdriver. I spend a little bit of time with it, but ultimately I still use these when I use my pouch. So I don't use it as much. And then I don't ever get used to using it, which the best ratcheting screwdriver by far, and I don't care what anybody says, is this one right here. Is the best ratcheting screwdriver. Is this one. See how fast that ratchets? The switch is right here in the front. Like you don't even have to reach up here and turn anything. It's just like forward, reverse. It's the most amazing ratcheting screwdriver ever right there. Perez said, Terry, save that for annex from the cruel fate. Should have been the Bills. MJ Harrington said, yeah, I was kind of rooting for the Bills just because I like watching Josh Allen. Like he's fun to watch. Like I said, I don't really follow teams as much anymore as I follow players, and there's certain players I like watching. Texas Ray, I need heat and AC in my garage. I haven't used the AC side of it yet because I just installed it, right when it was getting cold. But the heat has been super nice, and as I've said in multiple videos and even in the garage thing and multiple lives, it's not that I even like I don't spend like hours upon hours out here most of the time. And for the most part, even if I am working out here, if I'm moving around, I'm fine. I don't get cold. And then during the summertime, I can run fans with the doors open, and it's fine for me working in here too. It's more so the doing like this, like sitting here in this chair, and then or filming a video or something like that. It gets pretty like whenever it's cold and like I can see my breath moving in front of me the whole time. And then even worse is the summertime with the sweat dripping off my hands and everything else. So it's going to be super nice. I'm interested to see how well the air keeps up. Missed maintenance said it's still 7 to 7. Michael got around 9 inches in Pennsylvania. The PB Swift stubby ball-like grip is heavy since it's so small and dense as well. Yeah, there's been 2 or 3 people say that I need to get the PB Swift stubby. And then like I think I mentioned it in the I don't think I did it in that video, but I think I mentioned it in the last live. Like this is one of my I like this on the Vera. I did mention this in that video that I put out today. Because this goes the same direction. So like if I want to go clockwise with the screw, you just turn this clockwise and it goes. But like I use this all the time, like just putting in screws. Like I mostly keep this in my bag for like small stuff because the handle's pretty small in this. Of course, they have a bigger version now. But I think the only reason why I like this one's because I can reach this. I use this for like, little set screws and towel bars and all that kind of stuff. And I can just sit there and spin this and not have to turn my hand against the wall. I really like it for that. And they have a stubby now, Vera does, that has this on it and that holds bits too. So I might be interested in picking that up and see. Although the stubby would kind of go against my hands close to the wall using it this way, but I didn't know that they had a stubby that had this type of mechanism on it. Love the USB vessel. Yeah, I've got 3 of them now, and I swap them back and forth. And I've got that USA version. I think that's that might be I think that might be what this one is, the USA. I brought them all in here I've been swapping stuff on chargers. I got everything that was battery powered out of my truck since it was going to be so cold and that I wasn't going to be probably getting in it and, starting it and running it and having the heater running inside of it for a few days. Because I don't think I'm going to work tomorrow either. I think I'm going to go ahead and wait till probably Tuesday and see how, not because, mostly just because it's going to be super cold tomorrow. And if any of the roads are still a little messed up, nothing I have is of dire importance. I got plenty of stuff to do here if I want to. So I'm probably not going to work tomorrow either. So I went ahead and got everything that was battery powered out of my truck. And while I had it out, I've been rotating it through the chargers, like my, 3 plane lasers, those screwdrivers, headlamp. I got all sorts of stuff that's that kind of stuff in my truck. Even my little jump starter, I've got that charging over there. The new Vera stubby's huge. Latest tool is the old M12 service light, the one before the pack out light. The pack out one seemed large and old, and the old was on sale. Yeah, the new one's really big. I actually got it in the house right now because I took it in there for in case the power didn't come back on, and it was a little bit later. So I took that in there because I got a lot more. I was using my M18 batteries for the top off to run the TV in case the power didn't come back on before the football game started. And then I was going to use the M12 pack out light for my light. But it's definitely a huge difference in size. Like the new one's really big compared to the old one. It does have a lot more features to it. But if you're not going to use those and size is the biggest thing, then it's worth it, especially if you get on sale. You're 2 behind me, Joey, if you count the older micro USB ones. Yeah, I've got the USA one, I've got the Japan one, and then I've got that red, the Galaxy red one. Better call in sick to the boss. Yeah, Miss Maintenance her office is already closed tomorrow too, so she'll be off too. Another reason why I probably wouldn't work tomorrow. There's Ryan in here, Ryan Nargang. He was the one in the guess the trade yesterday. I want to see a video by someone not so bright and review the 7-Eleven and put an electric screwdriver and read the mean comments. I actually almost thought about doing that in that video whenever you sent me that earlier, or it was in that text. But I actually thought about that whenever I was filming it. I was going to mention that and like put that in there because you could probably put them. What I do with it now? And what I do with that's up there. If you put it in the which actually it might not lock in there with me having that. Yeah, it locks. It locks, but it catches and has a lot of play. But I've also got that. This one's the one that has the erasers in there. I can't take my thing out of that near as easy. My little adapter. Let's see. If you put it in forward, and if you sit there and do this, it might ratchet. You just got to sit there and play the ratchet with that. Use top off for the important stuff. Yeah, I really don't have anything that's like a big backup power. Like I don't. Everybody, I went in Home Depot. I had to go for my jobs. Like I had to go into Home Depot and Lowe's to go get some door locks to change out, and I had to go to both of them because one of them had one thing that I needed, and the other one had the rest of it. And man, they were running over all day on Friday. People in there looking for generators, and then it just so happened when I was in Home Depot, they were unloading pallets of them off of a truck, and people were grabbing them like crazy. But I don't even have any of that stuff. And I was like, I'm not even gonna get one. It's like I can survive some days putting on more clothes. During the summertime to me is when it stinks to not have power more than the wintertime. Because I mean, wintertime power goes out and it's cold like this, and I've got snow out in the yard. It's like I'll just throw all my food in coolers and set it outside, and then but summertime you got to worry about all your food going bad, and you got to go get ice, or you got to do all kinds of stuff. And then I can't stand being hot. Like you can't fix hardly being hot. You can only take off so much. Now, if you're cold, you can pile up blankets and all that kind of stuff. But one of these days, I'm hoping maybe like a big Jackery or Anchor or something like that's going to contact me and say, "Hey, would you want to try out one of these things?" I'll be like, "Yes, I do." And I'm getting a lot of ads. So I've got a bunch of things I need to make videos for, but I'm hoping that might be what I do tomorrow, barring that the power doesn't go out again. It wouldn't surprise me if my power doesn't go out again. Jeff heading out to overtime, no heat call number 14. Joseph Muhammad, I can hear you. We got 7.2 inches here in New York City now. Yeah, plumbing with keys. He said that they had 8, and he lives up there somewhere. Videos by M18 lighter fine. Snow is starting in Denver now for the second half of that football game. Have any of y'all? I saw my handle over here, and that made me think. I thought this was the handle. I thought that was a Fluke non-contact voltage tester. Have any of y'all tried I put it in my wish list. I don't think I ever noticed it. So Klein had a recall on a non-contact voltage tester. It's been a couple years ago. It was like the NKNCV PT1 or PT or something like that, and now they have a PT1, but it actually looks pretty small, because that's the one thing I don't like about the Kleins is how big they are, and it's usually because they have an extra feature that's like the laser or something along those lines, infrared, thermometer. But that one actually looks small enough. I don't like the Kleins because they don't usually fit in the little small pockets of an MP pouch or a Vito bag or something like that. But has any of y'all tried that newer one? I thought it was brand new. I just saw something about it the other day, but then I asked Google when it was released, and it said something about like 2024 or something like that. So I don't think I've ever seen it. and it's not in my. I know I haven't seen it like in my Home Depot or in Lowe's. I did see it on Amazon though. I don't know if any of y'all tried that one or not. That was a hot minute, aka a year ago. Yeah, I never had seen it, but it's probably because I've just not seen it in the stores and not searched Klein non-contact. I don't know why I can never say that non-contact voltage tester because it's not typically the ones I use. What's your advice for attaching my Vito Tech Pack to my Klein mod box setup? Most people, what they do is they buy the feet things. I used to have like some pack out, like that kind of 3D printed stuff. I think it's in one of these, maybe. Like you can buy stuff like this. I think this is the reverse version of it, but and this is pack out, but I'm sure you can get Klein stuff that's like this. So they sell things like this, like 3D printed that you can screw. I've seen people do it. I've not done it on any of my bags. Uh, Basically, you put feet on the bottom of your bag, and it should make it snap in there. But of course, you're going to drill holes in it. That's probably the whole reason why I personally would never do it. But I also don't run a roll a stack in and out either. Like if I rolled a stack in and out, I'd probably want it to be that way too. That way I didn't have to worry about my tool bag falling off. I'd probably almost come out with a way, like if you're rolling a whole stack in and you've got a tech pack that's a backpack, I'd try to figure out a way to hang my bag like on it somehow, some way on the side, like get the ladder hooks. I probably got some of them. Let me see what we got here. Got to dig to get them out though. I ended up not using them. I bought these to, yeah. Like this, so I didn't have to screw holes in the bottom of my bag and stuff. Like I'd get something like one of these and mount them on the side and like hook your straps around it or something like that. If you're running a stack, I don't know how you're, hooking it in. Bought the DeWalt hydraulic impact yesterday at Lowe's, deal of the day, $99. Matt's got one with no additional gimmick, still bigger than the Fluke. Yeah, this one looked pretty small. It's I can't remember what the name of it is. I've got it in my wish list. Because it was a bunch of numbers. I can't remember. It looked like very slim, and it didn't even have like that. You know how most of the Kleins have kind of like a squarish type of look to them. I probably got like some laying in here somewhere. Probably down in here though. There's a Fluke. Yeah, I had to dig. I've got a couple, but I never end up using them. The Santronics are my favorite ones, but they're a little bit more expensive. Michael missed the DeWalt deal. Joseph getting sleet until 1 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, ours is supposed to stop today. Like we're supposed to be on the tail end of it. Of course, you're up, so you're getting it last. 12 inches, Ryan said, in Maryland. Now it's sleeting hard. Are the Milwaukee strippers almost as good as the Knipex? So I don't know which Milwaukee ones you're looking at, but I've got a video comparing the Knipex and the Milwaukee, and it's one of those that for the price, you can buy like 4 pairs of Milwaukee. Sometimes if you get them at the right price for the same pair of a Knipex wire stripper, but the cutter on the Knipex like spreads open a lot farther. I don't think I got my bag in here. Well, I got the dipped handled ones. So like these open like significantly and cut better if you do commercial work, like if you do a lot of MC cable and stuff like that. I'd get a pair of these. If you're doing residential and cutting Romex and stuff all the time, probably either one of them, the cutter's fine for what you're going to use it for. But I've got two pairs of these. I've got a comfort grip pair and a dip grip. These I leave in my pouch. The comfort grip stays in my MCTP, but I've cut, I don't know how much MC cable and stripped how much wire with this pair right here. And it's just like they're new every time I get them out. Like it does exactly the same as when I bought it. And my old Milwaukee ones, I haven't used the newest pair of Milwaukee ones that I have the most as much as what I did before I bought Knipex, but I used to run Milwaukee ones before I bought the Knipex, and I liked them. They were some of my favorite ones. But I'd go through a couple pairs a year, so it's one I much prefer those, and it cost me $60. But I haven't bought a pair of strippers in like 3 years now, 3 or 4 years or something like that. Versus I could spend $20 and get the Milwaukee and buy a couple more pairs, and over the course of 3 or 4 years, still spend $60. But to me, the Knipex are more enjoyable to use. So it's just a matter of if you want to spend the money up front or if you want to spend the money over the long haul of things. And then you have to say, would I rather have the Knipex for 4 years or buy 4 pairs of Milwaukees for 4 years? But the new Milwaukees might last longer. I don't know. Because that's the thing sometimes with spending more money on tools is it's more of an upfront cost. It's that sticker shock price. But if they last longer, then it's irrelevant. And if the tool is more enjoyable to use, then you actually get that better enjoyment for 4 years instead of using something and paying for it 4 times over 4 years that you don't really maybe like as much. Yes, I'm rolling a stack. Do I have any pets? I've got a cat. It's actually my son's cat. Now, I had a cat. My cat passed away. It's maybe been over, it's probably been over a year now. I'm not real sure. Uh, but he went and got a cat that's technically his. And when he moves out, he's supposed to take it with him. But I don't know if the cat's going to want to leave. She likes it pretty well at our house, but I murdered a dozen Milwaukee 6-in-1s in less than a year. My Knipex are 5 years old and still fine. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, that's what I'm. What's up, Jonathan Green? Milwaukee makes horrible strippers, in my opinion, Jonathan said. The Milwaukee's dull just cutting Romex. See, that was my experience with them. But again, the pair that I bought that I compared to the Knipex, I bought those because they were on sale, I think, at the time or whatever. They're in my house bag just so I don't have to come out here to get a pair of strippers if I want a pair. But they're getting very little use in there. I mean, it's only if I change out something in the house or something like that. The end of it for acting like a pair of pliers probably gets used way more than the stripper aspect of it. So I can't tell you on the longevity of like a newer pair, but I know my older ones were that way. Which is your go-to team for today's games? I'm going to say the Patriots are probably going to win this one, but this one really could go either way. Like it's you know, and then the next one's actually the hardest one to me, in my opinion, because the Seahawks look pretty daggone good. Like the games I've watched them play, but the Rams offense is really good too. So it's a very good defense against a very good offense. It just depends on who does what with that. I'm in all of them. I really don't honestly. I'm not like, oh, I'm devastated if any of them like win or lose out of the 4 teams that are left. Like there's nobody that I'm just like, oh, I really, really hope this team wins. And there's nobody even like sometimes there's a team in there that you hope loses. It's like I don't really care who wins except for this team. I don't want this team to win. I don't even have one of those teams this year. It really doesn't matter to me. How sturdy is that Milwaukee crate? I got a palm router coming. Want to use the crate and make it into a router table. I would think if you made a thing and put it on the top of it, like I mean, it's probably stouter than your standard like milk crate. It's definitely a lot thicker material, like the outside of it and everything. It's definitely stouter than like if you've used a regular milk crate before for stuff. Way stouter than that. I would think it'd be fine if you figure out a way to mount something to it. to put a top on it, which you could do I mean, Milwaukee's got a top that I guess probably snaps into the crate somehow, some way, which you can also, there's probably something on Etsy where that somebody's already made one uh, that you snap into it. You need a lap buddy or a garage cat. Yeah, I need my new garage door down there. I noticed just the other day on the inside, right in the middle, my uh, weather stripping on the bottom of it has a big chunk teeth marks, like about this big out of the middle of it, where I guess there must have been a mouse in there and it was trying to get out and started chewing on it. So that makes me mad. Woodchuck said diesel. I must have missed. Let me see what he. Tool reviews of tools I use. Hi from England. Morgan, what's your small parts organizer boxes of choice? I only pretty much buy pack out just because that's what I already have. So for the most part, that's what I use. As far as like that kind of stuff, I bought one of these. Normally it hangs over here. I've got it just sitting over here right now because it's where my door was. One of them little tray things with the little drawers. I can't remember what the brand name was on it, but it's been working out pretty good for. I always come in with stuff from jobs that I can't make myself throw away. That's like a 10 leftover fasteners or something like that of something, and then I'm like, well, what can I do with this? But I don't want to put it inside of an organizer because it's not something I'm going to use all the time. So I bought one of those to start pulling out those little drawers and throwing stuff in them and shutting it so that, and I kind of remember in my mind stuff that I put in there. There's no really, I still have to dig through it because I don't label it or anything because it's going to be something that's ever changing. But I primarily use Milwaukee Pike Out just because it works in my truck that way, works in here to where I just come in and out and snap it in and out based on what I'm using. I like Matt Stafford. Miss Maintenance said, as a foreigner, it's crazy to see how much I love watching football. Have a great weekend. Sunday, everyone. Old World Handyman said, I've used a Milwaukee crate as a non-OSHA step stool. Yeah, I've stepped on mine before too. I've used it for a seat all the time, like quite a bit. I don't carry the extra. I got two of them. Y'all probably can't see it. They're behind me, I guess. I got two of them down here. I still got one in my truck that keeps like my drywall, hot mud, and all that kind of stuff like that in it. But these two right now, I used to have these in my truck, and then I've transitioned to doing other stuff that I don't use those anymore. But there's two of them that fit perfectly right there, so that's where I keep them at. So I don't have one as a seat in my truck as much anymore, but I got that little collapsible stool thing that I keep underneath of my passenger side seat that I get out and use too. So Old World Handyman says, when I'm buying tools, I also think about my legacy to my children one day. That's that way I prefer to get good hand tools and other tools depending on how much I'll use them and for what. Yeah, if it's something that I'm going to use pretty consistently and pretty often, like a pair of strippers or like screwdrivers or something like it, the ones that I'm going to put in my pouch and use like all the time or in my tool bag, like a pair of like adjustable wrench pliers or a pliers wrench or something like that. You know, those are going to be tools that I use pretty regularly, almost every day type thing. If I want something that's a specific one, if it's the most expensive one, I'm still going to buy it uh, because it's like an enjoyment thing for me. But then also, it's like I'm going to use this every day. I want it to be good, and you don't want to, get to a point where like this something just doesn't work that well, and you start getting mad whenever you're working, and then you end up throwing it, and then or you end up cutting a corner because it's just too hard or whatever it is. If you can make it easier, more enjoyable, if it costs you a little money, it's worth it. Dirty Motley had a Klein Mini Gray handled hybrid lineman and strippers. I just started using them, found they are really handy. Yeah, those are the ones that they started clearancing out because they brought out the new ones that a lot of people have been making videos for. I still haven't brought myself to buy them yet. I kind of want to try them. I walk by them. They're at my Lowe's now. They have finally put them out. They're forged, wire stripper type things from Klein. They're newer versions. I haven't tried them though. Pie Guy, what is your drywall anchor of choice for hanging things you can't find a stud for? Let's see. I'll go ahead. Let me get my wall anchor box. Hopefully my door ain't froze on my truck, but pretty froze. Pretty froze. I probably got some over here, but I got my rope stuck out. Hang on, let me go around this way. I got a bigger organizer that I refill that one with, but I don't know if I've got everything in it or not. I use multiple things. This depends on what it is that I'm hanging. And again, I probably got some things out there in my truck one that I don't have in here because I might be on the last ones or something like that. So they have these. They're called wall dogs. These are okay. Work better in 5/8 drywall than 1/2 inch. And they've got them with white heads and silver heads. But they basically are kind of like one of these, except for it's just one thing. Like it's basically a screw and that anchor built in, and you just screw it in. 1/2 inch drywall, maybe on a wall you can get away with it. You got to be real careful, like to not go too many revolutions in if you're screwing it in with a matter of fact, I'd recommend putting them in with a screwdriver actually if you can. Those work pretty good. Those are a little iffy. This right here, these I use quite a bit, this version, or you can get, I tend to like these a little bit better, the metal ones. They tend to like not mess up as much as these do sometimes these end up breaking off, and depends on what it is you hit. These are definitely like the most user friendly because you just I almost went my coffee. Screw that in, put your Phillips screwdriver, and then take that screw and use it. Those are the easiest. Now if you're hanging something super heavy, I go with these, the toggle anchors. You put that through, like you drill a 1/2 inch hole, you turn that sideways, put it through the hole, and then you can kind of like do this and it flips it back. You pull it against the wall, and then this is like a zip tie, and you pull this in, and that tightens against the wall. And the nice thing about these over a regular like toggle bolt anchor, like one of these, is that like once you like if you hang like a fire extinguisher with one of those right there, you can always remove that fire extinguisher mount, and that toggle stays in the wall. Like you can take the screw out, versus if you take the screw out of one of these, this falls down in the wall or it's up in the ceiling. And it also, as you start to loosen this, it's harder to get that screw all the way out without pulling on it. So these are the better version of a toggle bolt, in my opinion. If you can use those, they are expensive though. And then usually I just buy these kind right here, like just that kind of anchor. You still can't hardly beat those. I like these because I can take an awl and just take an awl and make a hole. I don't drill it, and then that way there's not a lot of dust. So if I'm hanging pictures somewhere that's a little bit bigger that don't weigh a bunch, and I'm going around a space and I don't want to have to vacuum a bunch and drill a bunch of holes, have dust going everywhere, then I just take it awl and poke a hole in the wall until I get to the right diameter, push these in and use these. But like I said, these are probably the most used. These, if I can get away with it. What these work nice in is if you're hanging like a light fixture and you get it up there and you see where the holes are, like with something like this, you've got to mark the holes, take the light fixture back down, screw these in, put the light fixture back up, line it up, and screw the screws in. versus maybe I would use like 2 of these on a light fixture versus I might put in like 4 of these on a light fixture just so I can put the light fixture up there and screw them up and not have to do the extra work. And most of the time, ceilings where I work are all 5/8 drywall, so they work a lot better that way. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else in my one outside that's not in there. That's the one I refill the one outside with. Where do you find the aluminum separators that go long ways in your pack out? I bought mine off of Etsy. Packable Tools, I think, is the store that I got them out off of. Speaking of tools that last a lifetime, I just ordered 2 snap-on water pump pliers in orange. Maybe other people don't throw tools. I'm looking for something good to hang things like marker boards and the like. Yeah, in my opinion, with stuff like that, either the screw type or just the ones that are just your normal, like the yellow or blue plastic anchors. I mean, those still work great. And like I said, the nicest thing about them, I don't think I've got it all in here handy to get to, uh, is I just take one of those and just poke it in the wall and keep spinning it around till I get to, because mine's tapered. So basically, I just go in as far as I got to get to the right hole size. Don't have to have a drill with me or any of that stuff. Don't accidentally drink. It didn't go in there, luckily. I love those zip tie toggles. Yeah, they're the best. And like I said, the nicest thing about them is if it's especially if it's something you're going to have to remove later, it comes in handy that the toggle and that little zip tart, it basically pushes that against both sandwiches within the wall, so the toggle stays in place. You can remove it, put it back, remove it, put it back. Sometimes I end up using those. Like I do a lot of framing of partition walls, and sometimes like where they want one, I don't really have anything other than a top plate and a bottom plate of the existing wall to kind of tie that wall in somewhere. And I'll use those. I'll put like some Lexel or something on the back of that stud, but I'll go through and drill some holes and install some of them toggle bolts, and then get longer of those quarter 20 bolts and go through my stud and kind of suck it to that wall to help it kind of be there. What's up, Elliot? I know I've got some of them in my truck when I got one of the, like, small compact organizer that I keep in there with just smaller amounts of these things so that I'm not packing that whole big box. I know I've got some of those ones, but it's not something I bought. It's just something that like came with something, and then I used something else because I preferred to use something else that I had. But the kind that have like it's a white plastic. You push it in, and it gives you a little red plunger style thing, and you poke it in there, and it spreads the wings out on the inside. I've got some of them in my truck too, which they're very nice to use. They're just sometimes it's not the right thing for me to use. Sometimes I end up using them toggle bolts instead. So that's the only reason why I've got some of those. You don't need it all if you got a double-ended O-ring pick in your bag, thousands of uses. Well, most of the time, if the size is right, what I do with those, yeah, you can probably see I haven't cleaned it off yet, but most of the time this ends up being about the right size for probably those grayish colored ones. So I just take this screwdriver right here and use this as my hole plunger. You can kind of see all the drywall on there. That's probably the last thing I did using this. I need to clean all my tools that are in my MP2X. They're all pretty dirty. Is that foam insulation or drywall as a makeshift door? It's a foam board insulation. It's what was in the wall there whenever I cut it out. So I've got let's see if I'll have to wait and let it catch up to see what's in the frame. Takes a minute. I've got this rope ran through it and tied off to my five uh, 5 drawer cart. So I've got it pulled tight. And then if I want to get in there, which I've got this locked down, but I just move my cart towards that way and open that door just to keep that hot air from just because all that's uninsulated right now. My outside walls are insulated, but the roof's just wide open with my soffit vents and all that kind of stuff. Great live on Thursday. Congratulations, Matt. My pouches and bags have Harbor Freight double-ended O-ring picks in them, no screwdriver handle, etc. Fits in any spot. I thought that rope was Romex. No, it's just some yellow rope. I think my buddy actually left that over here. He brought it over here whenever we were pulling trusses up to tie them off while we were up there, and I found this laying out there, so that's what I used with some of this. Every time I'd come in here, I was just leaning it up against it. And it was still doing a pretty good job just leaning there. But then if I opened up this door and left it open for any period of time, the airflow just kind of pushed it right out and it was always falling over. So, and then I stuffed some insulation up in that little header looking area because it was open too. Looks like the rope in the clue game. It's pretty similar. I might get canceled. People will say I'm making nooses or something out of it. I'm surprised that the Klein mini ratchet's not back in stock yet. Usually that they restock their stuff pretty fast. I've been checking for you guys to throw it out there to you, but I'm surprised it's not back in yet. Sometimes the comments on some of them things crack me up. Was the husband in the garage with the rope? We all can't be a major influencer like you and get free stuff. I don't get everything free, but I have started getting some pretty cool stuff free. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty nice. But that's just like this right here. I was actually gonna buy this. Like I decided I was gonna buy it after I watched Sir Master of None's video, and I went on there and it said out of stock, and it had been in my wish list forever. And I was like, man, it's out of stock. So I looked them up and just emailed them and said, hey, I'm curious. I noticed this was out of stock, and I was wanting to buy one so I could review it on my YouTube channel. And they said it's supposed to. They said it's supposed to be in stock in a couple weeks, is what they told me at the time I emailed them, and that was probably like a week and a half ago because I've had this for a little while, and so it should be pretty soon, unless all this weather might impact them getting whatever. I don't know. But they said, well, we'll send you one. We have one here. We'll send one to you. So I was like, pretty sweet. So I might end up buying that lollipop driver they have and buying it since I was going to spend the money on this anyways. Unless they just heard that and they want to send that to me too. I figure the more people want to send me stuff, it's just more time because I spend money on tools anyway. So it just allows me to get more stuff of what I am going to buy. Have you gotten your hands on the new Milwaukee Packout radio? No, I haven't bought the M12 one. I love in my truck because of the size of it and the way that it fits in my stuff, and it's really gets plenty loud for. I can't really jam at most of my work sites because like I'm usually in 9 times out of 10, I can't even use a radio because I'm working inside of a place with people. But even if I'm going to, I don't just jam it out, and I'm usually working by myself, so it's right there in the room with me anyways. It's not like I turn it on to like be loud enough for a whole house to hear it and that kind of stuff. So I like the M12 one in my vehicle. That's probably, I don't see myself swapping that out for anything else because of the size of it. I've got an M18 radio that I keep in here. It's actually in the house. When the power went out this morning, I came out here and got it and brought it in so we could at least listen to the radio instead of sitting there staring at a wall. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really use bigger radios that much. And Milwaukee just never sent me anything, so I'm looking forward to the thing they sent you. They didn't send me one though. Yeah, that's what I might get out tomorrow and see if I can make a video for tomorrow. I've seen those new mini ratchets. They give the old ones in a package too for comparison. No, I know Project Pine Hills. A lot of times he has like the tools that he's compared them to. Like he'll show them to you in the package. I've never asked him this, but I don't know if he goes to like Lowe's or somewhere and buys whatever he's going to compare in the package just to have it for his video, and then maybe he returns it, or maybe he keeps them around in the package. I don't know. I've noticed he does that a lot on his videos, and I was curious because sometimes it's tools he's reviewed, so I know he's had them out of the package, but they're definitely in the package and sealed up like the ones he's looking. So maybe I think sometimes like if he goes and buys something at the store, maybe he buys the other stuff too, and then maybe he returns it. That's just me saying it. He hadn't told me that. I don't know for sure. But no, nobody, they didn't send me anything except for the new one. I have a knockoff of the Lollipop driver and I like it. They've got one that's red and black, a Lollipop driver. I don't know if it's a little bit cheaper than the stainless steel looking one. I don't know if the red and black one, maybe that handle doesn't extend out more or something. I'm not real sure. I didn't look. I just so happened to notice whenever I was scrolling down, I saw the stainless one that had the blue, and it said something about extended, and I didn't go back to look at the other one. I'd rather have that red and black one. Furnace calls done. Headed back home. Dirty filter causing limit trip. What's up, Tom? Shame on Milwaukee for not sending you stuff. That's what I say. I mean, look around, Milwaukee. Yeah, those rigid tube tools. Yeah, I always recommend that to anybody. Like those rigid. I've got the old rigid one. I've used the new rigid one, but those faucet wrenches, Klein's got one now. I've not used it, but it looks very similar. Matter of fact, the Klein one kind of looks, I think, more like just off the top of my head, looking at it at the Lowe's. I haven't really looked at it. I think it's more like the rigid one than the new rigid one. The new rigid one's got that big old square box on it, which kind of gets in your way sometimes. But definitely, I would recommend having one of them for anybody. They're very useful if you're going to do any work under a sink. The red and black is aluminum, K Teagle said. So the silver one, I guess, is like stainless or something like that, maybe. I so the red and black one looks pretty nice as far as looks wise. Eating snow ice cream here. Yeah, if I wasn't on a diet, which it's already turned into pretty much like I would have had to make that yesterday. Like if I was going to make snow cream, uh, I really really like it, but I didn't make any this year. We would have had to make it yesterday. Today, now everything out there is just like a big ice cube. Everything's real hard the whole time you step on it. I might have to end up plugging up my top off to my phone at some point and make sure I don't die. I was charging it before I came out here because I used my phone a bunch this morning, just searching around stuff while that power was out. That's all I had. Yeah, this particular vessel screwdriver, it's got you can even see like the ball bearing right there. Like, I don't think the 230, that gray one, I think it's got like a little, it doesn't have a ball bearing down in there. It's just got like a little thing that kind of spreads out. And this thing doesn't quite, I mean, it wouldn't come out unless you like pull it out. But it doesn't, like, you can tell when you put it in this one, like it just goes in there. It doesn't really, this one's got that ball bearing that kind of catches and snaps. Like that one's in there more secure on this one. But see, you could do this. What do I do with it? Well, what do I do with my vessel? It must be underneath this thing or something. Or you can do this, which this one might be. Let me see what I got it on. This is probably pretty tight though, so sometimes it doesn't work real well on a brand new screw on this until you. These plastic boxes are a little bit tougher with the new screw. Y'all help me remember if that solid light is the most torque. This one got moved on me. Let's see what this is. 2. Yeah, I think it's the solid one. But I mostly use metal boxes. It's like every time perfect on metal boxes because that's already a machine screw and already threaded. Because these you're actually kind of threading the plastic when you put that screw in that first time. Because now that they've been in there, you know, you'll be able to do it pretty fast. So if you're going and working on existing and you're using this, it's whenever you're installing it new in plastic, it doesn't work all that well. But that's why pretty hard for me to grab a ratcheting screwdriver anymore, which I didn't grab one very much in the first place when you got one of those. Never had snow cream. Yeah, it's basically ice cream you make with snow, milk, vanilla, and sugar. It's really, really good. Like it's good. Cold as a witch's nibbles out there. Yep, it is. What's up, Sadalgo? Good thing we have enough power tool batteries to keep our phone charged for weeks or months. Yeah, I charge mine with my top off. Taking a break from an exciting cellar clean out and preparing for Ram football. What's up, HV? What's up, Curtis? Seen some rough pictures out of Tennessee. Yeah, we ended up not getting near as much as what they, originally had said for sure. Some of those boxes aren't pre-tapped. Yeah, those aren't right there. They're not. Solid is. That's what I was thinking it was. It got moved on me. I probably hit it. Normally that's the setting I leave it on all the time, but I probably bumped it whenever I was putting it on the charger. I think I'll be earlier to these after football season's over. Let's see. I can't remember what it. Yeah, I don't have my. Normally, I look at my watch to see what it is outside. But I think it's some. It was whenever I came out here, it was 19 degrees is what the temperature was saying, but that doesn't take into effect the wind chill and all that kind of stuff. Mm. I still haven't. I commented on Jester Metalworks thing because he told me to email him about the sign. Uh, but his email's not on. I couldn't find his email anywhere, so that's why I don't have that. So if any of y'all talk to Jester Metalworks, tell him to email me. I gave him my email in a comment, but I hadn't heard from him. My coffee's already getting cold though. Have y'all talked about food yet? I'm trying to convince my family to eat sardines. I went and bought some stuff for in case the power went out to have some stuff that like you don't have to cook type things. And Amanda bought some stuff like cans of tuna fish and all that kind of stuff. Which Miss Maintenance really she actually likes sardines. She eats them a lot. I used to like whenever I was younger. I don't. I have. I probably would eat them now. I haven't eaten them in a long time though. I did just buy me some pickled bologna though to have. I ate some of that today. I haven't eaten it in a long time either. Sardines and saltines with mustard. Yeah, that's normally the ones. If I eat them, I've ate them with the mustard. I know they've got them with mustard, and then maybe they got some with olive oil or something too, or something like that. Maybe. Safety assassin says 16 today. Yesterday was -6. Yeah, I think ours overnight temperatures are supposed to be like that, and then also especially if you take the wind chill and stuff like that into play. I got to make sure and check my unit again since more stuff started coming down. My whole I got a heat pump and the whole unit was froze over, and I went out there and got it all cleaned off before I turned it back on after the power outage. Because if it gets froze over, you obviously the fan's not going to be doing anything, and then you need to run your emergency heat instead, so you don't tear up something. But I prefer not to run the emergency heat unless I have to, because it costs you a pretty penny sometimes to run that. TPG said I need to get a big power station. We'll run tools on a job site, and Amanda can cook during outages. Yeah, I've had multiple people. I think even Jackery and a few other people have actually sent me stuff before, and I tell them, yeah, I'd like to try it out, and I tell them I really want one for like that would run at least a table saw on a job site because that's one of the few corded tools where I don't even have a cordless option. And it's never really been a big problem for me. Most of the time, I've always got power, but there have been a couple times where the power compared to where I'm working is pretty far away, and it'd be a lot nicer if I could just throw something in the back of my truck and just use it, right then and there, wherever I'm working at, kind of close, and not have to have 200 feet of extension cords or something like that. But for some reason, like you know, there's been multiple times where people sent me stuff and I say yes, and that's the end of the like something happens in between me saying yes and me getting the thing, and I never receive it or don't hear back from them or whatever. 71 here in SoCal. J. Charles 12 said. Must be nice. I like the different seasons and I like having, but as I've gotten older, I don't like the cold near as much as like I used to. Like Miss Maintenance prefers the cold over the hot. Like she doesn't want to be anywhere where it's super hot. But I don't like the cold as much. It's mostly because like my feet and stuff get cold, and then once my feet get cold, they just don't hardly warm up, and it's miserable for me. Tom said he used to meet a friend of his after they both got off second shift at a gas station. They'd eat sardines and crackers. You should start a turned fish of the week segment. A tinned fish of the week segment. Trying different canned fishes. I told somebody this morning, which I know like some areas still got it bad, and you know it's very hard to tell somebody how much snow and all that kind of stuff. It's I mean they don't know. There's not like a direct science probably, but I said I think the bread, milk, and eggs, and then the generator companies had a lot of product they needed to push, so they paid the news quite a bit of money to act like we were going to be getting. I mean, at one time they were like, "You're going to get 20 something inches of snow," and we got like 4. That's a big difference. I mean, that's a little off. I just rediscovered bologna. I just last weekend smoked a whole bologna. Smoked bologna's good. In 1 week, I'm pre-diabetic again. Do the fried bologna and egg sandwiches. I like bologna's one of my favorite like lunch meats. Like just regular, like even if you just go get the Oscar Mayer thick bologna. Now Kroger has some kind of a bologna in their. I think it's a beef bologna in their deli, and somebody had brought like I think we had a church thing and they bought a bunch of lunch meat for it for us to make sandwiches, and one of it was some kind of bologna out of the Kroger deli. It was like a beef bologna, and it was some of the best bologna I've ever eaten. Does Joey need heated socks? I wish they had like some good ones, like those, like the Klein heated gloves. They need the same kind of system and heat. I'm sure they got them. I just don't never look into them. Bacon, egg, cheese sandwich for lunch and supper. Camel City Meals sock sponsor incoming. Somebody is actually sending me some socks and gloves. Uh, I asked them to send me. I wish I could think of the name of it now. I can't. I got an email Friday from somebody, and they just asked if I was interested in trying them out. Didn't say I need. They even said, you know, if you don't want to make a video about them, you don't have to. We just want you to try them out. And then, man, I wish I could think of the name of them now. It starts with a C, but it's not Camel City Meals. But they had beanies and toboggans, and I said I wear a beanie and toboggan like all the time during the winter time. So I said it because they only mentioned sending me socks and gloves, and I went to their website to see what they were and what kind of stuff they had. And I said, I see you got toboggans. I said, if y'all want to send me one of them, I wear one of them actually all the time. And but they said they were out of them. So, but I am supposed to be getting some socks. It's not from Camel City Mills. What's up, Robert? I'm hoping they said something about being warm. I've always been looking for a good pair of keep my feet warm socks. I haven't really found any yet. I tried some of the is it darn tough or whatever that is. I bought a pair of those. They're pretty good, but my feet still get cold. I think it was darn. Is it called darn tough? It's something out of up north somewhere. They're made in the USA. Darn tough Vermont. Yeah. Born and raised in L.A. Went to college in upstate New York. You can keep winter. Garlic bologna. Jeremy Dunlop. There we go. Miss Maintenance. Miss Maintenance loves it when I eat garlic stuff. Roy Phipps said I smoke the little cracker bologna sticks. More crust to bologna ratio. A butcher shop here years ago would make pork bologna when they processed the hog. It was pretty good. Yeah, and like I said, if I have my preference on a like lunch meat sandwich, I prefer bologna really over about anything else. Until you see it being made, probably. Yeah, but the Kroger deli, and I don't know if they got multiple brands of bologna that they slice, but I do remember it said beef bologna on the little label. That's what I do remember. It was some kind of special name, but it was probably some of the best I've had. But I like mine pretty thick. Like if it's not thick, I just put more slices on there, but I like quite a bit of bologna on my sandwich. Now during the summertime, if you can get some garden tomatoes and put Miracle Whip with whatever lunch meat you want to, it doesn't really matter what the meat is, best sandwich ever. But bologna with garden tomatoes and some Miracle Whip is about as good as it gets. My Milwaukee heated sweatshirt gets a workout this time of year. That Klein vest, I wore it all last week. I really like, which Milwaukee has vests too. So I mean, I think the vest though, I never thought about getting one before until they sent me that one. I always thought, I might as well get a hoodie or whatever. That way I just wear it. But I work inside a lot, so then it's back and forth, and sometimes I get too hot and I can just take off. Like I'll wear that vest underneath something like this. And then if I get super hot, I just take this thing off and have short sleeves with the vest on when I'm inside somewhere, if they got the heater blaring or something like that, instead of having to take my whole hoodie off and keeping up with it. I do like this slimmer pro. If I was going to buy something Milwaukee, or I'd probably go ahead and buy that adapter to use a flatter battery pack, a power bank or something, because that M12 battery does stick in your back pretty bad, like especially if you go sit down. But my Milwaukee stuff's pretty good though. But I really like that Klein vest. It's the worst part of driving to the first job in the winter. Your feet stay cold till you start walking. Yeah, see, once my feet get cold, it doesn't even matter. Like if I get them cold right now and I go inside and work somewhere that's even heated, like they do not warm back up unless I stick them like in some hot water or, something like that. It's almost like the socks hold the cold. Or matter of fact, I got to take my socks off. It's like it's as if the socks are holding the cold in or something. If you lived in LA, you can't have smoked bologna and white bread. You have to settle on mortadella on focaccia. I get 3 or 4 different companies that push alpaca or Mongolia wool that do a lot of YouTube ads. Yeah, it's either that or that merino wool or something along those lines. I bought some merino wool socks too off Amazon. I tried those. That was back whenever I was seeing all those like darn because they were a lot cheaper and they're still good socks, but I still haven't found a pair that's like, oh, my feet actually stay warm in these. So that's the only really reason why I said yes to it, because normally I don't do like socks and all that kind of stuff. But I thought, well, I'll go ahead and try these because I've been looking for a pair. And if I can find a pair that keeps my feet warm, it's guaranteed they're going to keep your all's feet warm because I haven't found a pair yet. Tom got some llama wool socks for Christmas from his niece, alpaca. Darn tough are good. Matco bamboo socks are good also. Jeremy Dunlap said, I wouldn't recommend grip edge caps. We never see how meat is made, mechanically separated chicken. Jay Charles said winters in northern Louisiana in the early 2000s was wild for me, normal for the locals. Yeah, our winters are hit and miss. Like sometimes we'll have something like this where the temperatures actually get down below zero and all that kind of stuff. And then some years, like, 30s, 20s might be the lowest that you might get. And those aren't too bad. And then it just depends. And then we'll go some years and never see snow, and some years we'll have a lot. Always salt your tomatoes. Yep. See you till Tim. Well, I normally put my bread, bologna, tomatoes, and then put my Miracle Whip on the other slice, and then put pepper and salt on the Miracle Whip, and that's my sandwich. Are we talking cold bologna or are we frying it? Uh, I actually like mine cold better. Like I know a lot of people like fried bologna, but I like mine cold, just regular like temperature stuff. I don't mind it fried, but I prefer it the other way. I think Amanda prefers it fried. Menlo wool socks, stupid ad, are not blends, are good and breathable. Have you tried diabetic heat retaining socks? No, I haven't tried a bunch of like the big name brand type things. I've just tried the different ones, like you buy the ones that you know uh Walmart and all that kind of stuff, like the Wolverines and the different Dickies and the ones that are supposed to be heat and stuff. And like I said, I think it does the opposite for me. It's almost like they hold the cold in instead of keeping my feet warm type of thing. Once they get cold, like they do fine. Like if I wear them around the house or something and never go outside in the cold, then my feet stay warm in those kind of socks. But it's like once I'm outside for a long time and my feet get cold, it's almost like those socks keep the cold in or something like that. We'll see you, Jeremy. This is the most snow we've seen in several years. We haven't had a lot in the last several years. There was one year where we got like a foot 2 or 3 times in the last. It was back whenever I worked at the place I worked at, so it's been a few years now because I've been working on my own since I think 2022, I guess. So it's probably like 2000 or something like that, or 2022. So it's probably like 2020 or something like that. I almost bought hollow socks because they offered a free alpaca cap, but when I found out I had to buy $100 worth, I passed. Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of these sock things is it's like they're very expensive to try, and sometimes you have to buy like a lot to get the free shipping or something like that, and that's why I haven't tried them. So that's why whenever, like I said, I'd never heard of this. I wish I could think of the name. I could look it up on my phone, but I'm recording with it. Uh, I wish I could think. I know it started with a C. Whenever they messaged me while I was working, I got an email while we just finished putting up some drywall and putting a coat on. I was just doing some cleanup, and while I was waiting, I was looking at my emails, and they were in there, and I went ahead and responded back to them. So diabetes sucks mean business. They're for people with neuropathy. Clint had to go make him a bologna sandwich, made him hungry. A buddy of mine, we were actually just talking about bologna sandwich. Some guy, the guys whose house we were working at, he came out to his refrigerator and got a jug of tomato juice. And he said that he was eating. He loves peanut butter and crackers and tomato juice. That's what he said. Then the buddy I work with said he likes a bologna and cheese sandwich with peanut butter on it. And we were both like, that sounds pretty, gross. And he's like, oh, it's really good. It's one of my favorite things. So I've never tried that. But peanut butter on most things is actually pretty good. But I would have never thought put it on a bologna and cheese sandwich. But that's what he does. Bologna and cheese sandwich with peanut butter. 10-7 Patriots right now, 5 minutes left. Weather has gotten nasty in that game. Dirty Motley's favorite bologna comes from Milwaukee. They're known for their hot dogs, but they have both beef and pork. Look up Usinger's hot dogs. Tomato juice, yuck. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Like I like soups. Like some of my favorite soups are the tomato based soups, like chili, obviously, and like different kinds of things like that. But I don't like just drinking tomato juice and like V8s and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not my thing. It's like people who drink the Bloody Mary drinks. My mom was a big likes the Bloody Marys. It seems gross to me. I'm gonna plug up my phone. Y'all let me know if I end up messing up something on the mic whenever, because I got to plug it in through my microphone thing. Let me find me a longer USB cable. I have one up here that's longer. Let's see what we got up here. That one looks longer. That one looks longer. just in case I'm getting low. I don't want it to turn off. I don't know what it does if it turns off. All right, says it's charging. Peanut butter on cheeseburgers is excellent. Like I said, there's not a lot of things that I haven't tried cheeseburger or peanut butter on that hadn't made it better. But as I would have never thought to put it on, like I used to even put, like I just mentioned, chili. I used to, for the longest time, put a scoop of peanut butter in my chili and mix it up, and it's really good. Like it's pretty good. And then there for a long time, whenever I'd eat chili, because I like the peanut butter in it, I'd buy those orange cheese and peanut butter crackers and use that as my crackers, and that is amazing right there. If you get like the little snack crackers that are the orange cheese colored crackers with peanut butter, smash them up and put it in your chili. Tomatoes need a thicker stewed consistency. It's like the people who drink ketchup. Sound good still. Appreciate it, Douglas. Now I want chili, Miss Maintenance said. I don't think we got the stuff to make it. I don't know if we do or not, but we got the meat part of it. I don't know if we got the tomato juice part of it. You have to start walking to the dollar store. I did get some. I went. I got the rest of the insulation I need for the walls in the building. I picked that up Friday, and then I still need to get. I need to get some 12-foot 2x4s, and I didn't feel like picking them up Friday. And I moved some sheathing up here, so that I might work on my building some tomorrow too. I didn't want to. The power went out this morning, and then so I didn't want to come out here and use all my power tools and use a bunch of battery juice in case for some reason the power didn't come back on. So I decided I wasn't going to work on it today, and because I wasn't going to have heat in this area to kind of come back and forth and get warmed up. So I might end up working on my building some tomorrow too. BLT. Yeah. Bacon's kind of like peanut butter. It's pretty good on about everything too. Yeah, I put some tint on my windows of the door there and the garage door, and now it looks like it's every time I look over there, I'm like, man, it must be getting pretty late. It must be dark outside because it always looks dark now. Someone needs to make grandbaby maintenance a tool belt. Yeah, we might find out in a little while what our second grandbaby maintenance is going to be, a boy or a girl. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I've got something in the mail from Steve's Wood Shop and Tool Reviews that he sent me. And then I've got some other things. I got something from Jeff Bowery. I got something from Five Ghost Shadow. Well, I got something from, I got a couple of things given to me by somebody locally. So I was going to make a video of like gifts thing, but I was kind of waiting to get that sign from Jester Metalworks if he was going to send it to me. Time to go make something to eat. Thanks for all your videos. Done made you hungry now. I got as soon as the power came back on, I made me a whole pot of coffee, and then got a steak out and fixed it in the air fryer. So I ate like right when the power came back on, just in case it went back off again. Free stuff video. The mail will be so behind this week. Yeah. Matt said you sent me the email address. Good. Camel City. That's not the people who said it did start with a C, but it wasn't. It's. I had never really heard of them. I think they mostly make like outdoor gear, based on the website. It did start with a C, but it's not the Camel City Mills. They had gloves, toboggans, uh, socks. I don't remember if they had anything else or not. Actually, I might let me look. I might be able to pull up it if it's in my Gmail. I might be able to look it up here. Cross Point Gear. Yeah, so it's C. Cross Point Gear. That's who's they're supposed to be sending me something. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of that. Cross Point Gear. Got 20 pair of the Camel City Mill socks for Christmas. I love them, Jeff Bowery said. Yeah, I see them all the time on, of course, Coolin' with Kraus always has kind of a thing. And then the Perkins Builder Brothers, I think, have had them in there some. The Stud Pack, maybe some. Uh, Building Jay's Way, one of the guys on the Perkins Builder Brothers, he's had them in his videos. There's a lot of people that I've seen that have them. I want you to get that stupid ad. Work Pro mobile workstation. Ego Power. Clicky Tech said the Ego Power shovel made quick work of my driveway. Kansas City only got about 4 inches. Yeah, they've got like they sell snow blowers and all that kind of stuff like that at my Home Depot and Lowe's during the wintertime, but it's like I can't imagine there's very rare we get that much snow. Like it's very easy to just go out and use a blower or shovel most of the time. That I wouldn't buy one unless it was something like that, like where you've got a battery powered tool. Like any of those kinds of things back when all you could get were like gas versions and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm just like, that's something that is not going to get brought out enough that every time you get it out, if you haven't went and started it and let it run for a while, like over the course of time, like it's going to be a pain to start that thing every time you get it out. The very few times you're going to use it. Where I live now, if you live somewhere that gets it all the time, it'd be worth having for sure. Also, maybe you could do a dual live with Chris, the handyman. Yeah, anybody that's willing to do one, I'm fine with doing one with anybody. I think the dual live sometimes it's harder for me. I thought it'd be easier because you'd have somebody else talking, like while you can kind of check the comments, and then they could check comments while you're talking and all that. Because sometimes it's hard, like you get in the weeds because you sit here and start talking about something and somebody else isn't kind of paying attention. That's why I like it when Miss Maintenance comes out here a little bit. Uh, But yeah, it does make it nice if you got an extra person sometimes too. It does make it actually harder though to keep up with the comments because you're paying attention to that person talking, trying to pay attention to the comment section. I wish I had the power sweep attachment from my Milwaukee pole saw. New England just picked Stidham off and they're going to run the clock off. So Patriots are going to win. That's like I said, that's who I figured. The other game's the harder one for me to like. I would assume the Patriots were going to win just because I felt like they're the better overall team. Like the Broncos defense was good, but the other one's going to be the hard one to. It's basically going to be offense against defense type thing. And the Rams defense isn't horrible. They haven't been playing as good as what they were earlier in the year lately, but My ADHD kicks in. Yeah, sometimes somebody asks me something and I go off on a tangent about it and just talk about it, and then it gets backed up pretty fast. Same, can't justify a full size snowblower. Power shovel works great. Man, the ads are coming up today like crazy. Need to get another battery, but they're proud of those. Yeah, the batteries of every tool system is what gets you. Like that's the one thing I like about, Milwaukee tools as well. Their stuff's expensive, but I can't remember the last time I bought a battery where, like, I don't even think I've ever went there and just said, "Hey, I need batteries. I'm gonna buy it." I always find some kind of deal where I'm getting them with a tool that I already want or whatever else. And, I might still be paying a lot for the tool, but I'm getting a bunch of batteries with it for free. Like, I've never went in there and just bought a pack of batteries, like a battery or anything. Like, that's the whole reason why I don't have a Forge battery yet. It's because I'm waiting until there's some tool that I need that has one included with it. I did buy something today, ordered something that works with M18 batteries. Um, but I've never bought a battery by itself. What's up, 5 Go Shadow? I just mentioned you, and I was going through the list of things I've got people from that I was going to make a video of stuff that was sent to me type thing, but I was waiting for the Jester Metalworks sign. A friend of mine preaches every once in a while. You hear his wife say "squirrel" from the front row. He gets off topic easily. LOL. Yeah, that happens. And I just had a comment. I can't. I think I may have talked. I can never remember what I've talked about in the live, what I've talked about in chatting with people, and whatever else. But I get a bunch of comments, and one of them, I think this was something I talked about during the live with Steve, uh, about how, certain videos should have been half the time or whatever else. And it's like, it's not like I come out here and write down a script and have a teleprompter of this is the stuff I'm going to go through. I usually just get the tool out and just start talking about it. And then wherever it goes, that's where it goes. And sometimes I miss stuff that I wish I would have said. Then sometimes I say something 15 times. It's just how it goes. But that's the way. Sometimes it just happens that way. You start talking about something, then you snowballs on down. Bought and returned 2 Makita OPE tools last week. I bet there's going to be a lot of generators returned in the next week. I know a lot of the stores have policies on, they either do a restocking fee or, if it's open box, I don't even think you can return it. But I'm sure a lot of people bought them, just left them in the box, like, and then that way if they need them, they'd get them out and then they'll return them like still sealed up and didn't even get them out. Band files are awesome. They put restocking fees on Jenny's. My Home Depot up on the top shelf of the clearance had some Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, Makita, like 40 volt blower with 2 batteries on clearance for like $130. I think his normal price was $400 something dollars, and then they had a 36 volt blower kit that came with, I think, 2 batteries as well, and it was on sale for pretty cheap too. But I've got that M18 blower I've got does all I need it to, and then I don't even use it. I keep a little Bosch one, or the Wolf box is what I use 90% of the time. But I mean, 130 something bucks though for a blower with 2 batteries and the charger and all that kind of stuff was a pretty good deal. Picked up the M12 3-inch cutoff tool and the 18-inch band file today. Got some door strikes to cut in. Rural King will not take generators back at all. Yeah, that's one of them things. Most of the time, especially if it's a gas, something that you put gas in, those companies, because I know there's people all the time that go buy pressure washers and go clean their house and then take them back and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, in my opinion, that's a pretty crappy thing to do. But I know most people are like, well, it's some company, who cares? But it's like, my Home Depot is 7 days return, even if it wasn't used. That's a good deal for the batteries and on. Yeah, that's what. Whenever I looked at it, I was like, if I had other Makita tools, like, and you needed just batteries, that's kind of why I bought the Metabo triple hammer. There was because I just wanted the batteries, and the price on it was cheap enough to even just get the batteries. So ACS are that way, no returns or within 6 days. Tom said it's still theft. Yeah, that's why I don't think that's a nice thing to do that. But I know there's tons of people that do it. They do it with tools and stuff too. Like if they just need to use a tool for a little bit, they'll go buy one and then use it for whatever that job is and then take it back. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Try to call some way. Makita. Let's see. No, he commented on that video that I put out today. I was gonna say he emails me sometimes, but he commented. So he's around watching. He was around watching YouTube. Daddy Dibs just commented and said, "Great content, but love the Little Debbie's truck." On some video, it just popped up on my screen. I don't know what video it was. Don't Beetlejuice us. I haven't used any Makita power tools in forever, so it's hard for me to. But I haven't really used any power tools in the last little bit that I would say, oh, these are crappy. Most of them are pretty amazing compared to what we used to work with. Whether you use DeWalt, Makita, whatever, it's like they're all going to get the job done. I don't know if I will have to work tomorrow or not. The snow has things shut down. Yeah, Louisville was shut down quite a bit. Like whenever I was looking around on the internet, I know they closed down. I think UPS and something else in Louisville. And then my brother still, both my brothers still live up in that area, and one of them sent me some pictures. When I worked retail, people always brought TVs back after the Super Bowl. We got used to it and said they were being rented. There's some way. It did work. That's hilarious. Flat Bowery's still in the bucket. Yeah, I hadn't moved him. I think he's still back there. All my 18-volt tools are Makita. All my home 18-volt tools, everything I take with me in my bags are M12. Yeah, I still have some Bosch tools, and I still have a couple batteries that are 18-volt Bosch. I got some of the core batteries or whatever still that are good. And I got a couple Bosch 12-volt, like I got a Bosch 12-volt laser and some flashlights. And other than that, I'm pretty much all M18 and M12. I got some Metabo stuff, but not a lot. And then anything else that I got that's a different brand is all corded stuff still. Most of my wood shop tools are Hercules. Ted Mochekel just said try the 7-Eleven lollipop driver. Commented, it just popped up, probably on the video from today. Everything in the work van's Milwaukee. Yeah, Milwaukee ends up being it's expensive. Like all their tools are expensive, but to me they're cheaper than most of the other ones when you buy them on a deal. Which Kyle emailed me. He said here in the last little bit, the Lowe's stuff that he's been putting in his cart has been hackable. Like it separates it out in the receipt, like Home Depot does. Like that's never really been the case at Lowe's. Like any of the stuff that they got buy more, save more type stuff on. So like you can buy stuff and put it in the cart, and it takes that discount and divides it up over on your receipt, like Home Depot does. So you might be able to start hacking stuff at Lowe's as well. My Lowe's customer service though is usually a lot more meaner or b-holish compared to Home Depot sometimes. So it wouldn't surprise me if every time I went to the customer service to try to hack something at my Lowe's, it'd be a big ordeal. Makita lost me on the 18-volt pole saw, but I kept the chainsaw. That was good. Yeah, I don't even have a gas chainsaw anymore, which I'm not somebody who goes and just cuts up a lot of wood or anything like that. If I was going to run one like most of a day, I'd still want a gas powered one just because it does go through your batteries. You'd be charging, even though I've got enough batteries, I could keep them charged, but I don't even own one anymore because it's the same thing I said about the snow blower. It's kind of a pain to go out here and start it every so often to make sure that when you need it, it's going to start up and run. And the battery powered ones I have will cut up everything I've ever tried to cut up with. I mean, I've cut down some pretty big trees even with battery powered ones. Tom said most of his Lowe's workers are geriatric. Most of them at mine are actually young. Like all of them are pretty young. There's a few older people in there. There's only one person that works there that's been there since, as far as I can remember, going to Lowe's. She's been up and she's been at the cash register the whole entire time. And she's been there for as long as I can remember going to Lowe's. Everybody else that's been there before, whenever I started working, they're not there anymore. It's all mostly younger people. When I brought that up to a Lowe's manager, he specifically said that he would not honor the split pricing. So during Black Friday, I made sure he wasn't on duty and hacked 2 routers. It's like, and again, I said it with Home Depot too. It's like you all are the ones who make your receipts do that. It's a very simple thing to go in and change to where it just, says you have to return all things to get the discount on all of them or do whatever. It's like, if y'all don't want to do it, then don't do your receipt that way, because your receipt basically states you can return this item for this much money if you want to. It's like y'all are the ones that are putting it on there that way. If you don't want it that way, then change it. It's like it shouldn't have to be a fight every time you go somewhere if you want to return something. Mm-mm. You'd think the old ones would know things. They may be slow to get things off the high shelves, but they should be knowledgeable. Yeah, I went in there to get 2 keypad locks Friday, and they're all locked up inside of the bin. So I had to go find somebody to get them to unlock the lock so I could get 2 keypads out. And then they had to walk them up to a register. So then they do that. And then while I'm at the register, it's 10 people deep. And then whoever's up there, they needed a manager's approval. So they called over the thing, said they needed a manager's approval. I bet it was 20 minutes before somebody came up there. And then the manager just walks up there and takes his little scanner out, doesn't ask the guy at the cash register a question, doesn't say what's it about, just scans it and says okay and walks off. It's like if if that's all you're going to do, then why do we need a manager's approval? It's like, just don't. We waited for 20 extra minutes for you to get up here to not even. I mean, if you're going to approve everything, then what's the point of even having it? So I was pretty mad that and the whole reason why I had to wait in line, like I would have went to another line, I would have walked up to the other side, but they had taken the locks and put them up there in a thing, so I had to wait for that guy to get them out again up there at the cash register. So I was in Lowe's for like an hour to buy 2 locks, and I want to be like, who am I supposed to charge for this time? I mean, should my customer have to pay for it, or should you? What is this hacking and splitting you guys speak of? So at Home Depot, Home Depot is the only place I've ever done it, but Lowe's has started doing their receipts this way. So like if you go in and buy, if it's buy this tool and you get this for free. So like if they've got, buy the M12 stubby, you get a ratchet for free. It has to be like set up with that way. It's not like a kit where you get these things and it's saying you get this for free, but it's one purchase. So you can even do it online. Like whenever you buy this, if you add this to your cart and it's free, well, it takes the value of both of these and splits it up over the price of what you're paying for this. And then, so like if this was $200 and this was $200, but you're getting this for free, they're going to say this cost 100 and this cost 100. Well, then you could turn around and go return this one for $100, and that would leave you with this one for $100 if they split the receipt that way. But it's hit and miss even at Home Depot. Like you can go in Home Depot and some of them are just like, yeah, whatever, don't even ask a question. And then some of them are like, oh, well, you got to return all of it. And I'm like, no, not based on what the receipt says. It's like, it says I can return this for $100. That's what it says. It just depends on who you get. What's up, Lexi? Now it's Sunday game day for me. Tom goes to the contractor's counter when I buy stuff. Joey, you didn't say, don't you know who I am? No, I don't tell anybody I'm on YouTube. I get customers all the time that come up to me, which I've done the same thing as what you just said. I've sit there and listened to somebody tell somebody something. I'm just like, I wait for them to walk off. I'm like, that ain't what you want. You want this right here, and like I show it to them and tell them what they need to do with it. Uh, but I get a lot of times people come up to me and just ask me stuff in the stores for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. Walmart made me get someone to unlock $5 face cream. Uh, the Wrangler clothes I bought, the shirts and the stuff that I made that short for, they didn't have any tags on them, but there was this other couple that was over there. They had T-shirts that were normal price $5, and they were on sale for like $1.50 or something like that. And they had like the magnet, security things on those. Didn't have anything on my clothes, but they were all over them T-shirts. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to me what they put stuff on and what they don't, what they lock up and what they don't. They should know who he is. Yeah, the Milwaukee reps in my Home Depot, they don't like I don't tell they don't know that I'm on YouTube. I don't ever talk. I talk to them pretty often, and I don't ever tell them. I mean face in the big box stores. I'm very friendly, just don't want to hear about it while out. What happened at Sunday? I just decided I'd do a live in case people were snowed in and bored. It was halftime on the first football game, so I came out here for a little while. My power was out all this morning, so it did finally come back on at probably around 1:30 or so. And what good does it do to unlock it, hand it to you, and then you go on shop and I could have stolen it after they handed it to me, right? Yeah. Which at Lowe's they at least made me they carried it up there. But it's kind of like I said about the manager's approval. What good does it do you to call for a manager's approval if whenever the manager gets up there, doesn't even ask, what do you need approved and whatever else? If he just comes up there with his little tag and lets you scan it and then walks off, it's like, well, then why did we do this whole smoke and mirrors? Why don't you just make everything go through however they want to? Make us wait for 20 minutes for that. Walmart had an $8 jump drive in the lock cabinet, but the $150 backup drive was free to get. I've debated a manager or two. I usually don't mess with them. If I go up there and they're just like, no, we're not gonna do it, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just return the whole thing then. I just return it all. And then I just do it again later or do whatever. But I've actually found, to be honest with you, on the hacking, I started just buying, like if it was buy, this and get free batteries, I just put it on Facebook Marketplace for whatever I'm going to get back from Home Depot, like whatever that extra amount is, because it's usually a pretty good deal on either one of them, anyways. I just put them on Facebook for whatever the price is that I could return it to Home Depot, and then usually I end up selling them, and you can sometimes even sell them for more than what you'd get back at Home Depot. I just do it that way, and then if I usually try it that way at least first, and then if I don't get any bites on anybody wanting to buy it, then I'll go return it at Home Depot. But that at least gives somebody the chance, if they want some batteries for a good price, they can just get the batteries off me, and then that way I don't mess with the whole return junk. Home Depot started locking up all the power tools, will only take it straight to the register. Yeah, mine's turned that way too. Lowe's manager who refused to do the hack told me that all these resellers watch YouTube videos and use a technicality to game the system. But again, it's still, to me, it's like, then y'all need to change your receipt where it just says you have to return everything, if you want to return one thing. Clicky Tech says it keeps the employees from doing fraudulent returns. I used to work loss prevention, and that's the main reason. If an employee knows they have to get a manager up front for something, it keeps them more honest. Buy them in store with cash and get cash back. They can't track it. Yeah, they have started doing like Home Depot started canceling people's online like accounts, like making it where you couldn't buy like if you do so many things like that. So that's another reason why I started selling mine on Facebook, because I buy a lot of stuff for like work, so I don't want to get my pro account like messed up and canceled, and because I get a lot of points and I get gift cards and all that kind of stuff like that. So, but I never buy the stuff like with the purpose, like in bulk to resell, or I only buy, if I hack something, it's just for my own self. Like I'm not going in there and buying 15 things of it so I can sell a bunch of them for uh, free or get good deals. Y'all got me hungry earlier. Ribeyes on the grill now. I want a bologna sandwich. And Miss Maintenance wants chili. Man, I got big prime rib at Kroger. They had it on sale for $6.99 a pound, and I made a big bulk of it. I just did it in the oven like a whole roast, and then I cut some off before I did that to make steaks. But man, I ate on that for a while. It was good. A lot of scammers and cheats out there. I kind of, again, but frustrating. I kind of get it, but frustrating. Ribeye, someone is rich. Just have bacon here. Well, whenever I'm on a diet, I mostly eat meat, and it costs me more money because whenever I go to the grocery, like I really only like ribeyes as far as the steak goes. That's really the only ones I kind of like. But I no longer am stopping in the gas station and getting, two monsters and junk and stuff, and then also stopping somewhere else. Like I spend zero money during the day, like where normally I might spend $20 or something like that. So it ends up still being cheaper for me to eat the way I'm eating now, even if I'm buying more expensive like meat. My 3 hacks I do a year is an abuse of the policy. Just ate some white chili that the wife made. I like white chili. We've made it. I think we've made it a couple times, but I like it like if we're out somewhere and they've got it, I like it. We've made it a couple times though. Jeff can afford ribeyes on that overtime money. Some way forgot to put a blanket on my windshield last night. Yeah, the top of my truck's pretty covered. My door, I just tried to get in it and it's frozen shut. So I'll work on that tomorrow. I'm gonna just let it sit there right now. It's amazing price, $6.99. Yeah, that prime rib was $6.99 a pound. I got a really big one, but I think it was like $60, and I got like a big roast out of it that I ate for like 3 days, and I then I had like three. I think I cut three big steaks like off of it too that I ate over the course of a couple days. So had a dog named Ribeye. Those nickels and dimes add up. Yeah, I go and eat breakfast on the only time I even eat out currently right now because most of the time I just wait till I get home to eat. But the Wednesday mornings I meet a bunch of guys at a like diner breakfast place that go to church, and that I eat breakfast there, and that's the only time really during the week that I even buy anything out. Other than I might, which I've started trying to remind myself to take waters and put them in my truck, but every now and then I've stopped and got a coffee or a water. That's about it. Tom's eating a lot of eggs right now. Neighbors' chickens are laying eggs. Both have eggs running out our ears. I've been eating a lot too. Hamburgers as much as ribeyes are on sale. I pretty much go to Kroger. I go straight to the clearance meat section, and that's what decides what I'm going to eat for that week. I just buy whatever's sitting in there. Kind of helps because it helps make your decisions. Because sometimes you're like, oh, what do I want to eat? And I'm like, I just let the clearance dictate to me what I want to eat. Had two cats, one named Dexter, other Morgan. Dexter passed, and now just Morgan. Now Thomas wants some Cincinnati chili. Clicky text about to 3D print me some pack out inserts for the new M12 tools. Yeah, my brother-in-law just bought. He's got a couple of 3D printers. He's the one that printed that Thor hammer thing for me. But I might end up getting into some different inserts and stuff for like certain tools in my pack out stuff and ask him if he can print them for me. They're not very expensive to buy, but it's like I said before, all the thing about going and buying 3D printed stuff is there's always a lot of shipping to it, which if you went and shipped anything lately, I understand why. I mean, it costs a lot to ship anything. You go ship something, I mean, you're talking double digit dollars every time. So I get it, but that's what ends up costing you so much is the shipping. Clearance. Yeah, I'm a big clearance person when it comes to everything. Like I go look at the clearance section at Lowe's and Home Depot every time I walk in there. I buy clearance clothes like the Wrangler clothes, or I go to Goodwill and buy my work clothes or whatever else. There's also a place called St. Teresa's in our town that's actually better than Goodwill. Like that's where I buy most of my clothes, because I don't like spending money, like big money, on like that stuff. That's wasted tool money. Tom wants a 3D printer. Lexi said meal prepping is the worst sometimes. If it's just me, it's no problem. I can eat the same thing over and over. I'm simple. The partner, not so much. Yeah, I'm a person where like you can make a pot of chili and like I could eat it all week, every single meal. Like it wouldn't bother me to make a big old pot of chili and just eat it all week long. But sometimes some people like they can only eat something once and they got to have something different. Obligwitty said that's why he bought a 3D printer. Ain't on sale, I ain't buying. That's the way I am with clothes for sure. Like I never buy clothes unless I'm getting them on some kind of crazy cheap deal. Work clothes. Well, really any clothes for the most part. Appreciate that revision. My 4 years ish plus on my true work pants have been worth it. Yeah, I actually bought a pair of them at one time. I had to send, they weren't the right, like whenever I got them, they didn't fit well, and I sent them back. And then I decided at the time I was just going to wait, and because I think I was in the process of at that time that I bought them, I was like dieting. So then I thought, well, if I go ahead and get the next size, it's like they're going to fit me for a little while and then they won't. So I was going to wait, and then I ended up never buying another pair. Beans and cornbread's best on the third day. That's like most things. I actually like a lot of things. Like most soups, I like better not the day that I make them. Like the next day, it seems like they kind of meld together better if you eat them the second day. I like spaghetti better leftover. There's a lot of things I like better leftover than I like straight out the when you're done cooking it. And then there's some things you eat that you like. It's only good if you eat it like right when you make it. Welcome to Morgan's Food Talk. Every now and then we do talk about tools. I eat a lot of coffee all the time now. I run through some coffee. Miss Maintenance said, can't remember the last time I bought new clothes or shoes. LOL, I was a thrifter before thrifting was cool. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I bought a shirt, pair of pants that wasn't like at Goodwill. Uh, like the St. Teresa's place it's kind of like a Goodwill. There's another place, that place where I used to work also had they got donations and had a big sale. And very rare that I went and bought, and then occasionally like something like the Wrangler shirts I'll find at Lowe's for dirt cheap. I think I got this thing at Menards. It was on sale, but I also had a bunch of rebate money that I had to spend at Menards. So this thing was on sale and I decided I'd buy it because right now I got that spider uh this shirt's that spider shirt, but I've got the spider one that does the same thing as this, but it's a large and I'm a little bit too fat to wear it right now. So I bought this one until hopefully I can fit in that one again. Cause I like having one of these that buttons this way. Cause like I said, I work inside most of the time, but I'm going from my truck outside and packing tools in. So I like having this, and then that you can just do this and unsnap buttons instead of unbuttoning something to take it off. So either something like this or a zip up hoodie or something like that, I like having, so I can just take it off once I get inside real easy. This morning the sleet looked like snow. Now it's what's left is more ice like. Should be awful tomorrow morning. Yeah, everything that I've got outside is just like a frozen lake that you're walking on, like that kind of a feel to it. There went a snow plow or something down my road just now. No Death Wish coffee. No, I just bought a big old tub of Maxwell House up at the dollar store because that's where I had to go to get my coffee. I want some more of that Heb Texas pecan that Jeff Bowery sent me in the coffee ground or in the beans so I can grind it and do it because that was really good. I really liked it. But Amazon, it's like $47 for 3 bags. You have to buy it 3 bags at a time. It's $47. That's pretty high dollar for that size bag. There goes the snowplow. Yeah, I just heard that too. It is too dang cold, but bearable. I can't afford that Matt Kroger coffee on sale. Buying large quantities. Got to buy cheap, so I had more tool money. I looked at that Menards jacket. Yeah, I bought this at Menards, and then I bought a blue hoodie that had like a blue and black flannel on the inside. It was on sale. It was on like a red tag or something too. Uh, and I said I had a ton of rebate money from buying I bought all my siding for this there. Uh, I bought all my PVC trim on my windows and all this stuff up front there for this garage. Seemed like some other stuff. I know, and I bought some electrical stuff and stuff like that. So I bought a lot of stuff for my garage from there. So I ended up getting several hundred. And matter of fact, I should really have another one coming. I think I still got one more that should be coming in the mail. My entire wardrobe is from the Costco collection. At Heb, I get Ethiopian Ugarif coffee. My favorite's the Tanzanian pea berry. I usually don't like a lot of them. It's got like the flavors in them. Now like that pecan one's good. It didn't taste like it had like a crazy. Like I don't buy any coffee that has like the like caramel this or vanilla that. Even if it's not like if it's a just ground coffee, I don't normally buy a lot of them that have that kind of stuff in it. I did buy I bought one though not too long ago. I don't remember what the name of it was. They always smell amazing if they got those things in them when you brew them, but I can't remember what it was that I bought. My wife loves her Dunkin', Sam's, and Costco. A lot of people love McCafe coffee from McDonald's. I like it at McDonald's. We bought I our son bought a tub of it because he didn't like the coffee I bought to make himself coffee, and I tried it, and it's not the same out of the thing that you make at home as what it is getting it from McDonald's. But they do have for the price. Like if you're gonna go through a drive-thru and get coffee, I'd just as soon get it from McDonald's. It's pretty good for the price. Time to get another round of shoveling in. Yeah, I never do that. It's kind of like my leaves. I never rake my leaves either. I might mow them, but I definitely ain't gonna rake them and get them up. I figure they're fertilizer for the ground. I just leave them. Same thing. This will eventually melt one day. I'll just keep driving in and out of it if I have to. Not flavored, just particular varieties. Erica gave me a choice, either food and oxygen or tools. So now I'm hungry and I have trouble breathing. We have a kiddo that works at a famous black and white shoe store, and we get half off. People say, "Are those the new Air Jordans?" And I say, "I don't know." Yeah, shoes are one thing where I do buy those. Like I buy the Skechers, slip ins is pretty much all I wear these days is Skechers slip ins. And I do have like some boots that I keep in my truck, and then I also wear them. Like if I'm working out in weather like this, I don't wear Skechers slip-ins because I don't want to walk back. It has to be like on a rainy day or whatever. I've got other boots that I wear that are like leather boots, but just normal day-to-day weather stuff. I just like wearing the Skechers slip-ins. But I do always wait until like I've got them in my list in my Amazon wish list that I check ever so often, and I basically if I ever see them drop to a like sometimes they'll be like $70 new, and I'll see them drop down to like 30 something bucks in my size, and I go ahead and buy them then. That way I'll have them. Iris Setter work boots 24/7. I'm wearing Skechers slip-ins right now. I've got on some Skechers. I don't know if these are considered slip-ins, but they're slip-ons. They have some that are called slip-ins because they like are easier to slip in, but I'll be wearing my insulated rubber boots tomorrow. Yeah, I've got a pair of like the muck ender boots that uh this time of year. Sometimes I'll keep those in my truck, but most of the time I don't even keep them in my truck because, like I said, I don't work outside a lot. It's usually just going from one place to another. So I just wear my leather. I think I got some Georgia boot, uh, leather like slip-ons. Mucks are the best. Yeah, they now those. Anytime I've wore those, no matter what sock I have on, I will say the muck enders do keep my feet like warm. The times I've worn those, they actually are pretty nice. Kicking off on the second game. Weird. I'm too wearing Skechers slip-ons. Ariat steel toe work boots, but I love the $20 Walmart sneakers for walking around. Anyone know when the 2026 Vito catalog will drop? Last year they came out, I want to say in February, if I remember right. I still have a hookup on Danner boots, half off locally if I need boots. Those are the ones that Perkins Builder Brothers wears a lot of those. They got the hookup with somebody from Danner and always are getting boots and showing them. Step ins are lazy dad shoes, and I'm not complaining. Yeah, they're really comfortable in my opinion. Like that's what I like about them. They're comfortable, easy to put on, easy to take off. And I've got a pair that I keep up in my passenger side of my truck. I've got an old pair that I put inside those Muddy Buddies that if I'm going to go in and out, like and walk around outside and stuff, but if I'm just going in somebody's house, I've got a pair of shoes that I only wear inside of houses that I keep up in the floorboard of my passenger seat. So that's another thing about the slip ins is I can easily just walk up to somebody's, door and leave them laying there and slip into two of them, not have to sit there and tie shoes and all that kind of stuff. Just makes it nice. I only wear work boots with the BOA lacing system. Red Wing Exos Light have been my go-to for 3 pairs now. Where are you located with snow? I'm in Kentucky, and we didn't get, in my area at least, we didn't get as much as what they anticipated. Just watched Denver lose, but the backup QB did okay. Yeah, I saw again. I watched the whole first half. I came out here after whenever the first half was ending, but he had thrown some really good passes at the beginning of the game. Anyways, it did stink for Denver that you play your whole season, you get the number one seed, you make it to the AFC Championship game, and your quarterback gets hurt. But I'm not sure it would have been much difference, to be honest. I mean, I can't imagine Bo Nix would have played much better than that. So I don't know that they got, it would have been a big drastic difference to have the other quarterback. In fact, even Tony Romo actually made a pretty good point in that it might have even been helpful in the sense that he played well enough that New England couldn't really uh, kind of prep for his like Stidham's tendencies and all that kind of stuff versus if they were playing Bo Nix, they would have already known like this is what he typically like they would have had a whole game plan to go against Bo Nix. When you haven't seen Stidham play for X amount of years, there's really nothing to go, no film to go off of. 9.5 hours to print one half of one pack out insert. Yeah, it does. It takes a long time. That's what my brother-in-law told me. I don't remember what he told me how long this thing was going to take whenever he told me, but it's like multiple pieces that you end up putting together. And he was still working out some kinks, so he didn't glue some of the stuff together. Like I could take the handle out, but this is printed. I mean, everything on here is printed. I can't remember how long he told me, which this isn't. This is like hollow. Obviously, it's not solid. Colombiano Supremo coffee beans from Sam's. We grind them at home and put them in espresso machine. Spent a couple grand on the setup. It tastes like any other coffee, honestly. Yeah, I'm not a coffee connoisseur. Now there are some that I definitely like better than others. And I was telling Jeff, I think today that, he sent me that Texas pecan and it was in whole beans. And normally I just buy ground coffee, but that whenever I ground it up, it just seemed like it was better to me. But I don't know if it's a placebo thing of you're just thinking, oh, it's got to be better because it's fresher or whatever. But also, like, I will say, like Speedway gas stations, like I go in some of them and they still have the old setup where somebody's just making the coffee, putting them in the glass carafes on the burners and all that stuff. And then now some of them have those that got the beans up at the top and it makes each cup individually, grinds up the beans and all that kind of stuff. Whenever they first swapped to that and the ones, and I started getting the coffee out of those, I was like, man, this coffee is like way better out of the ones that grinds the beans and makes the cup. So I think there is something to that part of it anyways, but there's not a lot of them where I can taste like a huge difference between them. There's some of them I like better than others, but it's usually just more so the difference between like a breakfast blend, a medium and a dark. That's the taste difference to me more so than it is the brand. Like you can get 10 different brands of the same, donut shop or whatever, and most of them are going to taste pretty similar, or a Colombian or, whatever else it is you get. Thorough good boots for me. Steve said he's got thunderstorms now with a temp of 34 dropping soon to the 20s. It's the perfect ice storm. Thomas Brown got some Keens on Black Friday, found them uncomfortable. They were very accommodating on the refund. I have worn I started buying Keens whenever I worked for Valspar for a few years. We made the paint at that factory that gets baked on like metal roofing and refrigerator panels and all that kind of stuff. Like not the Valspar paint that you go buy at the paint store and Lowe's and all that. And we had to wear like fire retardant clothing and spark resistant shoes and all that kind of stuff. And Keen was one of the few brands that had some at the store where I bought them. So that's the first time I bought some of those, and they weren't bad, but never heard of Brunt before social media went crazy with them. They come out with a BOA lace boot. I'm going to try them. We'll see your revision. Yeah, I'm probably going to get off here and go watch some of that game myself and see how that goes. Did you know that Japan has safety toe Converse, Keen shoes, Asics, etc.? I like the Quick Trip coffee myself. Yeah, I like Speedways. It's pretty good. 5 stars. We have a lot of 5 stars. It's not bad. Uh, I don't know if I've got Casey's or not yet. I don't go in Casey's a lot. Like I'll stop and get gas at Casey's, but I don't know if I've been in very many of them to get. And most of the time, it's always like in the afternoons, and I'm usually not getting coffee at that point. I'm getting like something to drink. Pats are in another Super Bowl. Anyone tried Vessi shoes? I haven't even heard of them. So Seahawks 7-0 already. Like I said, the Seahawks have looked pretty tough the last few games I've watched them all the way around. Like their whole team's good. It's not like their offense is not as good as their defense, but it's still pretty good. And the Rams earlier in the year was kind of that way. Their offense is phenomenal. The Rams offense is, but their defense was really good at the beginning of the year, and then it kind of started slacking off. They've got good players. Might be a blowout, Amanda, is what Steve said. It takes a second to remember to actually lace my shoes. I honestly don't know. Usually, even on my lace shoes, and I don't even think I'm trying to think if I've even got a pair that I lace up now. But on my tennis shoes that I just wear out places, I make them to where they're kind of tight, and then tie the laces in a knot and cut them off at the very last hole to where I can still fit them on and slip them on, but they're because I'm not going to go running in them or something like that. So I don't even, even if they're laced, I still don't tie them most of the time. Bones Coffee Company has great flavored coffee. Jelly Donut is my favorite. There's tons of coffees out there. It's like it's almost, even if you could just go to a grocery store, it's like so many flavors out there. I use Brunts for most of the year, but in the summer I usually use New Balance composite toe sneakers. I used to be a big New Balance was my tennis shoe of choice, like the gray ones that, just normal plain looking gray ones. Those were the ones I used to wear all the time. They're very comfortable. Steve goes to Aldi. Redback boots are Australian made. 10 out of 10 from NACA Automotive. Aldi and Dollar General are the go-to for Tom. We go to both of those. The Dollar General is the closest thing to us. So if we just need something quick, we always go there. And then Amanda goes to Aldi quite a bit. I'm not old enough for New Balance. You don't have the dad shoes. I can't remember what the numbers were on the one. I always got the same pair, the same number. Like they all have numbers, and they were the gray, like I can't remember. It seems like they were like 731s or something like that. I don't remember what the number was on it. We hit $1.50 tree for drinks. I normally go to Kroger most of the time for all my grocery shopping, other than the times that there's certain things we get at Aldi. But that's mostly 504 New Balance. That's them. That's the number. But we've got a lot of Krogers in our town. That's the biggest. Then we basically have Kroger, Walmart, and then one Meijer. We've got a couple Walmarts. I think we got one, two, three Krogers, and one Meijer. I buy shoes on Woot. About to watch your 7-Eleven L video after this. Like I said, it's pricey, but like say you buy a quality ratcheting, like a PB Swiss ratcheting screwdriver, that's going to run you $80, So yes, this thing's $50, which is expensive in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not expensive for what it is. And that's me saying I think that's what it is. I can't remember what the price was when I put it in my wish list. I just know it was something like that. But this is like, as far as I can tell, it's 100% all metal construction. I mean, I wouldn't know without taking it apart right there, but I can't imagine it's not. So if you spend $50 on this and then, 15, $20 on this, you're at the same price of a PB Swiss. But if this is as good of a mechanism, and I feel like it's pretty good, like this is one of the few where, like, I feel like you know how most ratcheting things, they either work very well with a loose screw or you got to sit there and tighten them for a while to get them tight enough to where the ratcheting stuff kicks in. I feel like this one's really good at, like, it will ratchet most of the time. So I think it's a quality ratchet, and then you're able to put it in whatever screwdriver. So if I'd personally rather have this than the PB Swiss, even though the PB Swiss is good, just because this is my preferred screwdriver. So I got the same amount of money in it. But if it's what I'd rather have, and I can also put this in other stuff if I really, really want to. Like you could even have like a favorite T handle or something that's like not a ratcheting T handle. So if you got like a Vera T handle that you really like, but it's not ratcheting, you could now turn that into a ratcheting screwdriver and use it like that if you wanted to. Like the Philo Smart handle. I could put this in the Philo Smart handle and use that as a ratcheting T handle now. I may be at Walmart 10 times a year. I have to be desperate to go to Walmart. Yep. I'd rather go to Walmart than Target. Some snooty people in Target. My wife loves Target, Steve says. Our Target is tied. Our Target is like with the Lowe's, so I buy Target all the time, but I can't tell you the last time I actually went in there. The 7-Eleven goes well with the Klein True Grip screwdriver. Yeah, I showed that at the very beginning. I had a couple people ask me about that in the comment section too. Yeah, it fits in there really snug. Like when it locks in, it's in there. Like no play really much in and out. It's just slightly longer than this, and this isn't near as heavy as this, and I like heavy. I know some people don't like heavy screwdrivers, but I prefer it. Like I like for it to feel like I got something in my hand. But it does work good in that screwdriver though. The Japan Klein screwdriver fits everything. I buy 90% on Amazon just because it comes to my door. Not that Amazon is ethical either. Yeah, and there's just such a variety of things that, like, in most stores locally now they don't stock stuff like they used to pretty much ever since, COVID. So it's like I'd have to spend all day driving around to 6 stores to look for something that's, if I had a nephew that really liked John Deere stuff or something like that, I'd have to drive around forever and not find half the stuff that I'm going to find on Amazon versus I can just get on Amazon, search John Deere, and have my pick of whatever it is I want and have it at my door like in 2 days. So, in a sense, Amazon's running out small businesses, but also small businesses don't help themselves when they don't stock stuff. That's the same way I feel about like none of the supply houses hardly stock many things anymore. Like if you go to get a tub or any of that kind of stuff, like you have to order it and it'll be here Tuesday. I mean, they usually get stuff pretty fast, but there's nothing where you can just go there anymore and say, hey, I need this. And they got it. Can't believe you shop at Lowe's knowing their hiring policy. I guess I'm not ethical. I buy the best quality for the cheapest I can get. Try the Vice Grip ratcheting version. It's a little bit shorter, which I think is even better. I'm wondering if the Vice Grip one is made by 7-Eleven because they're almost identical. The pipe vice version, I think is what you're talking about. Pipe vice. I actually, you might have been you. I don't know. Somebody put it in the comment section. I looked it up. I didn't even know pipe vice had one, but I looked it up. I saw it. It's the only difference really is, best I can tell. The only difference is, um, they have this floating magnet in the 7-Eleven that kind of moves up and makes sure that your bit is on it. And I'm sure that the whole purpose that's to take it off, but I don't think that really matters. But that allows you to put different size bits in there, different length bits, basically. Like if it was all the way up at the top and you put a double sided bit in there, it's not going to fit very well. I think that's more so the reason for this floating magnet than it is to get your bit on and off. It's so you can put a little bit deeper bit in there if you got one, or a little bit shorter bit, and the pipe vise doesn't have that. So I don't know how that would come into play. Because like if you had a bit like what I showed in the video, like one of these, going over to the top off, like one of these, that's a longer bit, but I can still use that, and it would go down there even farther if I didn't have that ball bearing on there. But if I put like you know, one of these in something where the magnet was all the way up like that, I'm only going to go in that far, versus with that down, I can now go in that far. I think that's the purpose of that more so than it is, hey, I'm going to pull this down and pull my magnet off of it so I can get the bit out easier. Because really that bit goes down in there with the magnet, whether you do that or not. I better put that back in there or I'll lose it. Lack of stock in local stores is a real thing. Mm-mm. Got a new HVAC system in my rental. The heat is about 75 to 80 degrees upstairs, 66 to 68 degrees downstairs. What can be get done to get the air to circulate more downstairs? Uh, so it's all one, like you don't have it zoned or anything, like it's all just one system. You'd probably have it's more so about where you're. I mean, the heat's going to obviously rise up to your second floor, so it's where your thermostat is. Certain, I guess you could maybe close some of the vents a little bit more upstairs because you're getting the heat pumping out upstairs and the heat from downstairs is going up there as it rises, type of thing. Tom said shut some vents upstairs. Matt asked if it was a 2-zone system. I'm assuming it's only one zone, if you, because the other way would be you had two thermostats and have two zones and have a thermostat upstairs and a thermostat downstairs. Heat systems in the attic. It's still the fact of that all the air from downstairs, is going to rise. The heat's going to rise, so it's going to move to your upstairs. The coming out of your vents in your downstairs. Yeah, the second story house, 2-story houses, the second floors, if it's just a big one system thing, and they always end up being a lot hotter than the first floor. So they can go in and do sometimes they can go in and put like dampers and stuff into the vents in the second floor and have it to where it's kind of, even though it's just one system, it's still got like a sensor in the second floor that opens and shuts the second floor so that if the temperature's met, it still keeps pumping hot air in the first floor, not the second floor. But you're still going to have the issue with the second floor, the first floor stuff rising up to the second floor. So no matter what, it's very hard to keep them like even. I'm not a big HVAC person when it comes to that kind of stuff, though. Somebody else in there probably help you out more than me. I don't do a lot of messing with duct work and all that. Most of my HVAC work, if I do anything, it's just electrical stuff on units that's messed up that I'm fixing. I don't do a lot of actual HVAC work, like install type stuff or anything like that. A baffle would help. Well, I guess I'm gonna get off here. I don't know when we started. Seems like we've been on here for a couple hours though, probably. The whole one game ended. Steve said I got a 2-zone system. And I usually leave the upstairs off and it stays warm. Yeah, that's the way it works out. Like all that air always goes up. But I guess I'll get off here and go in here and see what I can catch of the rest of this Seahawks game. I just thought I'd come out here and do a live in case there was some people snowed in and bored like what we were this morning while the power was out. And then some people might not, because that's what Amanda said before I came out here. She said there might be a lot of people that don't have power or internet to see anything. And I said, well, they're probably like me this morning though, and they're sitting around on their phone watching YouTube on their, whatever their cellular data is, because that's the only option we had this morning was watching YouTube stuff and all that kind of stuff. Get a bologna sandwich. I'll enjoy the rest of sports ball. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Like I said, I'm going to either work on my garage tomorrow or make some videos tomorrow, or maybe both. I don't know. But I know I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm going to wait until Tuesday and see what it does. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all being on here.